There is a level of discipline so intense that it actually makes people uncomfortable when they look at you. It's not just respect. It's a quiet, subtle fear. Today, you are going to learn exactly how to reach that state. You've seen these people before. Maybe only once or twice in your life. The ones who never break. The ones who wake up at the exact same minute, day after day, performing the exact same rituals with machine-like precision. While everyone else quits by the third week of January, they are just getting started. While others look for excuses, they simply show up, and what does society say about them? That's not normal. That's obsessive. That's too much, and they are right. It isn't normal. Because normal is average. And normal is broken. There is an ancient system, forged in the fires of Japanese Zen monasteries centuries ago. It creates a sequence of action so powerful, so inevitable, that it becomes terrifying to the undisciplined mind. They call it Gyōji. The practice that maintains itself. Once you understand how this works, you will never miss a goal again. You will never fall off the wagon again. But there is a catch. A heavy price tag. To enter this state, you have to be willing to destroy a part of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Chapter 1. The Awakening. Let me tell you about a guy named Raphael. On paper, Raphael was smart. A high-level programmer, sharp logic, good career. But he had a fatal flaw, a weakness that was slowly rotting his potential from the inside out. He was incapable, completely incapable, of sticking to anything for more than 2 weeks, the gym. He'd go hard for a month, buy all the gear, and then vanish. Meditation. He'd last 6 days. Books. His shelf was a graveyard of unread chapters, bought, opened, read for 3 pages, and abandoned. The pattern was always the same. It was a loop. Monday, 100% motivation. This is the new me. Wednesday, the first internal negotiation. Maybe I'll skip today and do double tomorrow. Friday, total capitulation. Sunday, the guilt. And the empty promise to start over. Raphael tried everything. Habit trackers, expensive apps, accountability partners, rewards. Nothing worked. Why? Because he was fighting the wrong enemy. He thought he was fighting laziness, but he was actually fighting the architecture of his own brain, until the day he discovered why Zen monks can meditate for 800 years without missing a single morning. And let me tell you right now, it has nothing to do with willpower. It is something much deeper. And much darker. Chapter 2. The monk's secret. In Zen temples, there is a rule that changes everything. It is called Gyōji. Continuous practice without gaps. The phrase, without gaps, is the key. Do you understand what that means? Since the 13th century, at exactly 3:30 a.m., a bell rings in the Eiheiji temple. Monks wake up. Not at 3:25. Not at 3:35. Exactly 3:30. Do you know what never happens in that temple? No monk lies in bed thinking, maybe I'll skip today. That thought doesn't exist. Why? Because they understand something you don't. The brain divides all commitments into 2 types, negotiable and non-negotiable. Negotiable commitments turn into an internal debate. Non-negotiable commitments simply happen. When a monk takes his vows, he isn't promising to try to meditate. He is changing his identity. He doesn't say, I will try. He says, I am a meditator. From that moment, the negotiations are over. Neuroscientists from Harvard, studying habits for over 15 years, have proven this. When a person makes their commitment public, the primal part of the brain perceives failure as a threat to survival. In ancient times, losing status in the tribe meant death. Your brain still works that way. So, here is what Raphael did. He stopped making quiet promises to himself. He started making public declarations. He wrote on a piece of paper, I am a person who meditates for 20 minutes every morning at 5 a.m. for 90 days straight. He signed it. He posted it online. He told everyone he knew. His girlfriend said, "You're taking this too far." His colleagues laughed. Too serious, perfect. Every single one of them became fuel. On the third day, the real test came. 5 a.m. The alarm rings. His brain started to whisper, "You're tired, one day won't matter." But now, there was something new. The thought of publicly admitting defeat was unbearable. The public promise made quitting more painful than continuing. Chapter 3. The internal war. Even with social accountability, Raphael kept fighting every morning. His body didn't care about his reputation. It wanted to sleep. The promise stopped the mental negotiations, but not the biology. That is when he learned the second rule of the monks, non-negotiable timing. Every day, you waste energy on the same stupid question: when should I do this? Before breakfast or after? Morning or evening? These decisions burn the glucose reserves in your brain, the fuel you need for the actual work. You are wasting fuel arguing about when to drive, instead of just driving. Raphael chose 5 a.m. not because he loved the sunrise, but because at that time, the whole world is asleep. No messages. No distractions. No excuses. This wasn't about optimization. It was about elimination. Eliminating all reasons to do it later. The first week was hell. The body resisted. That is normal. It operates on patterns, and you are forcing it to build a new one. Second week, and something started to change. He began waking up 2 minutes before the alarm. By day 14, his feet hit the floor before he was even self-aware. No thoughts. No decisions. Just movement. Most people don't understand this. A fixed time isn't about a convenient schedule. It is about removing the option of choice. When you do something at different times, you have to decide every single time if you are going to do it. When the time is fixed, the brain stops arguing, but soon, a new loophole appeared. The schedule was fixed, but the activities varied. Sometimes meditation, sometimes reading, sometimes push-ups. The brain found a new way to negotiate. Not now, maybe later. 5 a.m. remained stable, but the practice was turning into chaos. Half the equation was solved, but not all of it. And this is where Dogen's teaching on forms becomes radical. You must do the same thing, every day, until the mind completely capitulates. Chapter 4. One path. You think variety helps you not get bored? Actually, variety kills consistency. Every time you change the action, the brain makes dozens of micro-decisions. Push-ups or running. What to read. How long to meditate. Every decision is a crack through which old habits return. Raphael sealed all the cracks. 20 push-ups. 10 minutes of meditation. 10 minutes of reading. Same order. Same timer. 90 days straight. His friends called him a robot. His girlfriend called him a bore. Excellent. On week 3, his mind was screaming, "This is stupid, you are not a robot." On week 4, something broke. Not discipline, but the internal noise. The voice of resistance went silent. By week 6, he was already doing half the practice before realizing he had started. The practice was performing itself. This is what people don't understand. Consistency isn't about willpower lasting forever. It is about repeating until willpower is no longer needed. The body learns the sequence, just like a dancer learns a move. Scientists at MIT found that if you repeat one action in the same context for about 66 days, the subcortical structures of the brain take control of the process. You no longer decide. You just do. On day 35, Raphael got sick. On day 40, he went on a business trip. This is the place where he used to quit. A sick day, a trip, an exception. But this is exactly where everyone fails, because they are waiting for ideal conditions. And ideal conditions do not exist. Dogen wrote, practice must continue without a single gap. Because in the gaps, old patterns come back to life. Chapter 5. Practice without gaps, the lie of all or nothing, has destroyed more consistency than laziness ever did. You tell yourself, if I can't do 20 minutes, I won't do it at all. And that is how gaps are born. A gap is a door through which the old you returns. Look at any athlete. They have rest days, but rest is part of the forward motion. It is planned, conscious, needed for recovery. But skipping because you don't feel like it, that is not rest. That is a retreat. A river doesn't stop flowing. In a drought, it might become a thin stream, but it still flows. Stop it, and it is no longer a river. It is just a memory of water. It is the same with practice. The moment a gap appears, you are no longer practicing. You are a person who used to practice. On day 40, Raphael was at the airport at 4 a.m., doing push-ups in the restroom. People looked at him like he was crazy. Great. He meditated in the car. He read on the plane. Nothing was perfect, but everything kept moving toward one goal. This is Gyōji. The practice that continues itself. People started to notice. Colleagues said he had changed. Friends said he was obsessed. Someone said, that kind of discipline isn't healthy. That's when he understood, if people around you say you are too strict, it means you are finally on the right path. Ordinary people get ordinary results. You are not striving to be normal. You are striving to be unbreakable, but there is something no one prepares you for. Unexpected obstacles that you never guessed would happen. Chapter 6. The predecision. Your child gets sick. The car breaks down. You get held up at work. These are the situations that kill consistency, because you haven't decided in advance what you will do. When an obstacle is unexpected, you make a decision under stress, and you almost always choose the path of least resistance. Zen monasteries have existed for centuries without missing a single day of practice. Not during earthquakes, not during wars, not during famine. Why? Because decisions are made before the event happens. If the meditation hall floods, they sit in the cafeteria. If the cafeteria burns, they sit in the courtyard. No discussions. The bell rings, the action is taken. Raphael wrote down all the situations that used to break his habits, and he came up with a solution in advance. Rain. Push-ups in the garage. Guests at home. Quiet workout in the bathroom. Hangover. 2 push-ups. 1 minute of meditation. 1 page of reading. Every situation had a pre-written answer. If X, then Y. No thinking. Just execution. This system doesn't just preserve the sequence. It frees the brain from unnecessary decisions. It knows that whatever happens, the practice will continue. And this knowledge changes the nervous system. Confidence appears. Calmness. Power. On day 70, the practice became completely automatic. He woke up and didn't remember doing the push-ups. His body just acted. On day 90, he finished his personal Engo, 3 months without a single gap, and he realized he had become a different person. Friends said, your discipline is scary. He smiled and replied, excellent. Chapter 7. The metamorphosis. When your discipline starts to confuse others, it means you are finally operating at the required level. By your very existence, you prove that the impossible is just the inconvenient. That is why they call you a fanatic. They advise you to find balance. They want you to slow down so that it doesn't hurt them to stand still. But you are not doing this for them. You are doing this because you have understood the main thing. Consistency is not an action. It is an identity. It is not about doing it every day. It is about becoming the one who cannot help but do it. When you apply the Gyōji system, the public declaration, the fixed schedule, the single form of practice, and the pre-decided answers, you are not developing a habit. You are smelting your personality. You stop being the one who tries, and you become the one who simply is, and then people look at you and ask, how does he do it? And the answer is simple, he doesn't do it. He is it. Are you ready for this level of transformation? Because this is not about discipline. This is about death and rebirth. The death of your inconsistent self, and the birth of the unbreakable. The Gyōji system won't make you better. It will make you different. It will make you the one they call not normal, and when you hear those words, you will understand. You are finally where you always wanted to be,